gotten more phone calls going, really? We know where you stand and what you do. But I want to begin with two little quotes. One is by John Wesley that says, do all the good you can, by all the means you can, in all the ways you can, in all the places you can, at all the times you can, and to all the people you can, as long as ever you can. And then the other quote is by Vivian Childs, and it says, treat everybody as if it may be their last day. It might be. Thank you for mentioning the book. The book is called Splintered, Brokenness in the Political Arena. Are we sacrificing America for political gain? I've been married for 44 years to my husband, who spent 30 years in the United States Air Force. My father spent 28 years in the United States Navy. I have 3 children. One is a physician, one is an attorney, and I have a daughter who is an educator. She is a vice principal in Newton County. So why, Vivian, are you supporting Mr. Trump? I thought about it because I was not going to get into this race at all. I had just come off of race myself. But I ran for a congressional seat. And so I'm starting to learn a whole lot more than I thought I knew about politics, especially in the state of Georgia. I learned a lot of things when I ran. Someone said, oh my gosh, but you lost that race. And I said, oh, absolutely, I did not lose the race. I did not win. I said, I think the district lost. And there's a difference between winning and losing. So they're right. I did not win, but I did not lose. But I needed to find someone who had the same principles by which I live. And so I looked at all the candidates, and I walked around for a long time with a 6-pack, as I call it. Either one of those 6 was going to be fine with me. And I will say this, even though right now I'm a surrogate for the Trump campaign, whoever comes out as our nominee, I will fight as hard as I'm working right now with Mr. Trump. It is crucial that we are in the presidency. And so someone said, but why? Have you heard how he talked? I said, listen, I am a minister. I'm a former teacher. I've asked students and people in my congregation, sometimes you have to get beyond what you see. You have to get beyond what you hear. What you see on the outside is not always what's on the inside. And I think about when I used to have my students write essays, and I had them to write essays. Some of the worst handwriting in the world would come into me on that essay, but it was the best written essay, content-wise, of anyone else. When I first listened to Mr. Trump myself, I said, oh my word. How in the world can we do this? But again, I lined up what he said, not how he said it, and who he was saying it to. On my badge, I have America First. In my book, I talked about America being first, even before Mr. Trump was on the campaign. And someone said, oh my gosh, you're a minister and you don't say God first? I said, God first? God is. I don't put him in any rankings with something down here. He is, as they said, we know him by I am. So he is not in my rankings. So after that, yes, it definitely is America first. And I will tell you something else I told my congregation. I said, you will see Minister Childs probably on the media doing some things that many people would call foolish. I said, I need you to think about what the word says also. I said, think about Noah, how people laughed when he was given instructions on what he was to do. We see the outcome. I said, think about how foolish people looked walking around for the battle of Jericho. But what was the end result? Even though this race, especially the nominee that I'm out here supporting, and I prayed on it, Lord, please, I wanted to stay out of this. But you have to encamp. You want good people everywhere. Again, one of these people, one of these candidates is going to be our nominee. We need to have good people with sound reasoning in every one of those camps. With sound reasoning in every one of those camps. So, as Isaiah would say, Lord, if you've chosen me to be there, I'll go. And that's where I stand. Two of the things that really impressed me was the military. Again, I'm a brat, I've been a spouse, retiree. I need other countries to fear us coming. That's important to me. They shaking their boots when they hear the name Trump. I'm just going to be honest with you. Whether it's good or bad, they shaking their boots. I need them to shake because I don't need them visiting us again. Also, when it comes, but I also need our allies, our friends to know that if they need us, we will be there. Other thing is immigration. We've heard a lot about, well, these people are here and all this, and this. Let me tell you how I feel about that. I have known people all my life who have needed things. I have worked with people who just need a hands up. I have known people who have stolen a loaf of bread because their children were hungry. But you know what happened? Were they forgiven because they needed a better life? Absolutely not. They faced a judge. When people come across the borders, they know that they're breaking the law. So why is it easier for us to forgive someone else than the man who stole bread to feed his child? If you break the law, you break the law. There has to be consequences. I don't think it's fair for us to forgive some lawbreakers and not all lawbreakers. I've traveled the world. I cannot tell you what country I have not visited. But when you go with your passport and you enter another country, and if you do not have the proper visa, you are turned back and you go home. If for some reason you slip in, you're going to jail. There's no, oh my gosh, you're trying to leave America for a better life. It just doesn't happen. Now, am I sympathetic to these people? Absolutely. But again, we have so many who have fought to do it the right way. Is it fair for us to be so apologetic? It just needs us to think about that. If we're going to forgive one set, then that man that stole that bread, he should not spend a day in jail. He should not face any other criminal. That's an American that was born here, but he faces a whole different set of rules than someone else. So that was where I was on immigration. I stand for what's right. I always tell everyone, I do what's right because it's right. Integrity is one thing that only I can give away. So whatever I believe, I look at the word first and I say, Lord, is this pleasing to you? And if it's pleasing to him, then it's all right with me. I'm not going to spend much time, but again, I just need all of us. You will never hear me talk about another candidate. In fact, amazingly, my son, who's the attorney in Texas, is on Ted Cruz's National Advisory Board. He is one of 9 that Ted chose. My best friends are Ted Cruz supporters, Ben Carson supporters. Do I love them any less? Absolutely not. This is a race for a seat. And at the end of the day, we have got to start coming together. That's what this book is about. We have got to stop saying or acting like we are angry if they do not choose the person we like. As the Bible says, for your thoughts are not my thoughts. Your ways are not my ways. What if we're wrong? How do we know? So thank y'all for letting me come and spend a few minutes with you for the support of Mr. Donald Trump. Thank you.